Hi, friends. Um, Pardon the crazy hair and the hoodie and all the things. I'm late getting this recorded, and I just felt like I really needed to get this out today. This message is just like burning in me here. Boxes in the background, Girl Scout cookies. It's fine. So, anyway, today is all about identity, maybe a little bit about purpose too. I was gonna put them together, but now that I'm going through it, like I really want to focus on identity. Who are you? Who are you meant to be? Right? That's so important. We're going to touch on so many good things, but let me start off by sharing my favorite movie because this is all about favorites, right? So, my favorite movie of all time is The Lion King. Yes, even now, as a 36-year-old, I love that movie, guys. So I was sharing my favorite episode with my kids in the car the other day. And I just got like it hit different this time. So I'll share with what it means. But my favorite part is Simba, it is so conflicted right now because the person he has been over the last several years in this paradise area um, with his friends, like Akuna Matata, no worries, right? Is meeting the person he was meant to be when Nala finds him. And he's got this internal struggle going on. Yes, I get so deep with Disney movies. It's okay though. So there's this internal conflict going on. Who is he really? Who is he designed to be? So Rafiki, which is the crazy baboon, goes and finds him, and they have this encounter back and forth like you don't know me, you don't know what I've done. He's like, correction, I know you, I know your father. He is alive. Even when Simba's like, no, he died a long time ago. And he's like, no, he is alive. I'll come back to that part. So Rafiki leads Simba to a watering hole, promising to show him his father. They get to his watering hole, and Rafiki tells him to look and eventually to look hard within that watering hole, which is where Simba sees his reflection. And it's really like, look inside of you is the way I took it this time. Again, it hit differently. So he does. His reflection kind of changes a little bit to see the reflection of his father. Instead, the skies open up. Mufasa's image is reflected in the clouds. Um, and Mufasa is speaking to him like, what are you doing? Like, you have forgotten who you are. You are my son. You are the future king. Like, it's time to take your place. It's time to step up and be who you were meant to be. Okay. So after this scene, it goes to somebody like walks away or something, and Rafiki follows him, and you can tell like Simba's still like, no, I can't be that person anymore. Not with the things I have done, believing within himself that he was the one who killed his father. But that's another story. Within the story. So yeah, he walks away and he's still like, nope, that's not who I am anymore. You don't know the things I've done. And Rafiki ends up just boinking him on the head with his little staff. And Simba's like, ouch, what did you do that for? And Rafiki said, it doesn't matter. It is in the past. And you can choose whether either to run from it or learn from it. Ouch. Gosh. Have you ever felt like that? Like, does that hit with you? So I I'm gonna get real honest in this one. I have felt like that. My journey back to Christ was began in a place of like, I have to be in church every Sunday because I have to try to get these things that I have done in my past. And what I would do is end up being in church in tears, and saying like, but that's not me. You don't know what I've done. Like, you don't know this dark being that lives inside of me. I can't be this magnificent, wonderful child of God. I was like Simba. Like, you don't understand. And I was giving all of these excuses, not only from my past, but also who I was telling myself I was. And the words, you speak to yourself more than anyone else speaks to you. And so the words that you tell yourself are so powerful, and they start to shape, good or bad, they start to shape who you believe that you are. And if you are stuck in the past, stuck in the noise of what society says, what other people says. In my case, it was what I was allowing someone else whom I thought I loved was saying about me. And that was a backwards trickling effect because I was looking back then and I was validating things that this human being was saying to me. I was validating that with things other human beings said about me or said to me. And I was stuck in this past. I wasn't learning from it for so long. I was running from it. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay if you have ran from your past. It's okay if you have struggled with who you are. You know who else did? Moses. Oh my gosh. If you don't know the story of Moses, I'm gonna cut it short. So if you don't know, he should have been killed. There was an edict out to murder all the Hebrew sons living in Egypt. He wasn't. He was saved. He grew up actually in the Pharaoh's household within Egypt, um, and he grew up and he ends up murdering an Egyptian in Egypt due to how the Egyptian was treating his fellow Hebrew. So he knew he was Hebrew. So he ended up murdering an Egyptian and then running for his life. He settles down in a foreign land and has a wife, has kids, is welcomed into his father-in-law's home, right? And kind of settles down. And I mean, in reality, right, he was running. He knew what was happening to his fellow Hebrews, but he also knew what he had done, right, in Egypt. So he was running and he was hiding and he was being a lot like Simba. Um, so fast forward quite a few years later, and he encounters the famous burning bush, right? And he approaches it. God starts speaking to him and telling him like he's gonna go back to Egypt. He's gonna bring the Israelites out of that land to their promised land that was promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it was like, hold on. Not me. It can't, like, who am I to go to Pharaoh? Who am I? Gosh. I've said that so many times. Who am I to speak life into someone when maybe I haven't been speaking it into myself? Who am I to raise these amazing children that God has blessed me with? Who am I to be their provider? Who am I to step out of my comfort zone and do what you are calling me to do? I've said it so many times. But God is like, hey, I'm going to be with you. I'm going to give you signs. Like, this is what you're doing, right? You're bringing the people out of Egypt, and they're going to worship God on this very mountain. And so he plays along for a moment. He's like, okay, suppose I do this. Like, let's play this out for a second. What if they ask me what your name is? Like, what should I tell them? I am who I am, and I am sent me. God said to Moses, I am who I am. And that's what you're going to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me. We're going to do a whole thing on the words I am because they are the most powerful words in the world that you can say in our language. But I am has sent me. And he doesn't say, tell them he is, right? He says, tell them I am sent me. That's because he was there with Moses the whole time. That was his plan. And today, like, he is with us. He is within us, right? So, then this whole big thing about like what Moses is to do, how he's supposed to bring him. So, but later they're like, what if they don't believe me or listen to me? What if they even mock me? He's like, the Lord did not appear to you. And God's got an answer for that. Like, it shows him these signs that he can do, he can use to show the people that he really is, that God is really with him and really did send him. So throwing his staff and it turning into a snake, putting his hand in his pocket and bringing out it's leprous. Leprous. I don't know. I'm saying that wrong, but putting it in and then it's clean again. So they go through this, and you would think, right? It's easy to sit back and judge. You would think, be like, okay, he's gonna go now. Like, he's seen the signs, he knows what to say. But wait, there's more. Moses is like, I'm not eloquent with words. Like, I'm slow to speak. How are they going to listen to me, right? And the Lord's like, who made you? Who gave humans their tongue and their speech? Who makes their ears? Who makes people deaf and mute, right? Is it not I, the Lord? The Lord knows you. He knows your quote defects that you might think. He knows how you feel and think about yourself. He knows what you say to yourself. He knows your past. He knows your present. He knows your future. He does not call those who are already equipped. He equips the called. He calls you and then he equips you, because he created you in his image, not the image of the world. You are not of this world. You are merely in the world. I heard this story one time about how, I think it was whales or dolphins. I'm pretty sure it was whales, how they live in the water, but they cannot breathe in the water, right? Whales have to come up, they've got the blowhole to breathe, and they come back down, unlike sharks, right? Who have the gills and can breathe through the water. And it was relating wells to us on this earth, right? Wells are not of the ocean. They're merely in the ocean. They have to come up to breathe, right? And God made you. He made the whales to live in the ocean while coming out of the ocean for their very breath. He made you to live in this society while going to Him to breathe, while going to Him to be equipped. You may struggle with who you are, but He knows exactly who you are. He knows exactly who you're meant to be, just as He did Moses. So you may think now, right? Okay, He's gonna give Moses now the words to say. He's going to help him speak. Like, I take that as physically helping him speak. Now go, I will help you speak and teach you what to say. He's going to give them the words. Man, he just has to read a script, read the equivalent of that. So you're thinking, okay, he's got it. Here's the thing. Moses has what we call imposter syndrome. He doesn't believe he is who God knows he is. He doesn't believe he has the abilities to do what God is calling him to do. I believe that. I believe that of other people. And I'm ashamed to say, but I did that recently. Like, I was praying to God about something. I was like, there is no way in the seat this person is in that they are able to get to this safety place. And God spoke very clearly to me. You're thinking about His abilities, not mine. I do that too. I can't post videos on YouTube and share the words that you have given me. No one's going to listen to me. You're thinking about your abilities, not His, right? Moses is thinking about his human abilities, not the God who made him. He's stuck in the past, right? So after all of this, he still has imposter syndrome. He says, pardon your servant. I love how throughout this whole thing, he's like talking to God through this burning bush. Pardon me, but can you send someone else? That's what he said. And even with all of that, God equips Moses because God knows who Moses was made to be because he made him. So he sent his brother Aaron with him, who speaks well, to help him. And finally Moses goes. So all of that is to say, we get stuck in the past. We get stuck in who we think we are based on our actions, and we forget that we were made for so much more. We were made for the same God who created mountains. We were made by the same God who created the Grand Canyon, who brought Lazarus back to life, who raised Christ from the grave. That is who we are. We were made in His image. We are a child of God. We are an heir to His kingdom. We are whoever He says we are, no matter how wrong we do. So I challenge you to stop looking in the past and truly look within you to see who are you meant to be. When you were 5 years old, who were you? Before you did anything magnificently wrong, which maybe you didn't murder someone. Maybe you did. But before that sin entered your life, who were you? Okay. So it's fine if you're like, I don't even know where to start with that. It's fine. I've got, as always, some really great things to help you. But first, know that it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to not want to listen. It's not okay to stay there. It's not okay to continue running, right? So, the first thing I have, the first way to understand like really who you are and who you're meant to be, your future self, is to get quiet, to meditate. Jay Shetty recommends 7 minutes is a good starting point. If you've never, meditated before, if you're just getting into it, I think a good starting point is to just get quiet and just start, even if it's only for a minute at a time, right? Um, if you have never meditated before, Headspace is an app. It's a great tool. It's how I started learning to meditate. But while you sit quietly, while you're breathing, what thoughts continue to come? Don't get stuck on the thoughts. Let them go. But what keeps coming back? Okay. And listen, it's so important to be curious, about the thoughts, about how your body feels. Okay. And then journal through that. Who am I? Start with that question. Who am I? Journal everything you think, good or bad. And then your next question, so these are 2 journaling prompts. Start with who am I? And then go into who am I meant to be? And just keep writing. Set a timer if you have to. Write for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Who am I meant to be? You can even, as you meditate, visualize. What is the perfect future self? Where is my Exodus Moses? Right? What does that look like? What does she look like? What does she do? What are her hobbies? How does she spend her mornings? How does she spend her evenings? What does she allow to enter her mind and her space? Right? All of those are great visualizations, getting very clear to the detail and then journaling afterwards. And gosh, just starting there can lead you to becoming your inner Moses. So that's what we're going to do here just for a moment. If you're driving, please come back to this part of it. Please don't close your eyes if you're driving. But if you have a second, I'm going to have you take a big breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. So when you breathe in, feel those lungs expanding. When you breathe out, feel that tension in your body releasing. Now, what can you see? Focus on 5 things that are within your view. Maybe it's the screen. Maybe it's your phone setting to the side. The trees outside. The clouds in the sky. And I'm going to have you close your eyes. What do you feel? Do you feel the ground beneath you? Do you feel the pressure in the seat underneath of you? Do you feel the close against your skin? What are 3 things that you feel? As you breathe, what do you smell? Do you smell fresh air? You're outside. Do you smell a scentsy or a candle? Do you smell food just made? What are 2 things that you smell? And then we're just gonna, how do you feel? Just do a quick scan from the tops of your head to the bottoms of your toes. Do you have areas that have tension? Do you feel loose, stress, and worry free? Do you have aches and pains? Now we're going to take another deep breath in and exhale through your mouth and open your eyes. So that's a great way to just quickly meditate and even get into that space where you can cut through that noise, cut through the noise in your mind, the noise on what you should or shouldn't be doing, and just start to get quiet. Allow him to speak to you. Allow yourself to visualize the you never thought possible. And that's where I'm going to leave you. So again, thank you so much for joining. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the like button, and follow me below. Don't forget the notifications. I'm hoping to get back into every Mondays, but I will keep you updated. And if you want to reach out, you can find me on Instagram at justjanet CTTN for cutting through the noise. And thank you so much again for watching. Have a great day.